Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Sorry, we're a few minutes late, but we were talking and time got away from me there, so. Anyway, our public hearing tonight is actually going to be information. We advertised the public hearing and everything, give her time and everything. But we sent it into the local paper, which only comes out, and we didn't get it in time to get it posted, so it didn't have its 14 days. So actually, I'm gonna have to have one more hearing on 28.
I don't, you guys haven't made a full decision.
Estimates for around 2029. It'll be at the courthouse in the court. What's the fair will be set up down here. But we have to have one more hearing just because of the paper only coming out once a week. It didn't get in there. They didn't post it in time. So anyhow, we're gonna let everybody speak that wants to speak. We'll limit you to about 3 minutes or so. I'll be real tight on it.
And Commissioner Holiday is listening.
Yeah, Richie Holiday is in Charleston with his father's in the hospital. So he is joining us by Zoom, and he can hear everything that's said. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. Robert Graham.
Yes.
Come up and yeah.
And I don't know if these microphones are fully working. Can you see if that's?
Yes.
I think you've got to get the power button on them.
Yes.
Because this is one hand.
Can y'all hear me all right?
Now we can.
Now you can, I'm sorry.
Is there a?
I thought they were already included.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, my name is Robert Ronan, and I'm a resident in the Lewisburg District and the Open Space Conservation Zone area. I'm here to speak against this latest draft of the zoning ordinance, and actually in favor of something closer to what was recommended by the Planning Commission in the spring. Now, I did listen to previous speakers at other public hearings that have been here, and some of those people had particular valid concerns that definitely need to be addressed. But I think that the version that the commission has come up with since then is a huge overreaction to some of the comments that were made against. In particular, number of people that spoke against this ordinance, this version, or any ordinance, were people that are against regulation. And I can see them being there that way, but the zone districts of the county are only 10%. 90% of Greenboro County is unzoned. There's plenty of space for people who want freedom to be free of zoning. There's also the residents of the zone district that want the freedom to choose the protection that zoning gives. The protection of property values, the protection of farmland, the protection from urban sprawl, and waking up some morning and finding a bulldozer next to your house and there's a huge development going in that you didn't know was going to happen. So how about all those of us who want the freedom to choose that? Now, what has been done with this latest version is to just obliterate the distinctions between zoning areas. Everything is now the same. Everything is allowed everywhere. And the new draft now in the open space conservation in OC, open space would now allow multifamily condominiums, convenience stores and other retail stores, gas stations, taverns, drinking establishments, and the gambling establishments that go along with that, and tattoo parlors, body piercing parlors. How is that? How is that open space? It's just making a mockery of the whole concept of protecting land in its natural state and the beauty. I ask you to send this back to the Planning Commission and let them, normal procedure, let them come up with a more balanced ordinance. You would then consider it your next public hearing. Thank you.
Redlined, Tuckwater.
My name's Raymond Tuckmiller, and I live out on the Blue Sulphur Pike. And, my family's been here, my fourth great grandfather came into the area. He liked what he saw. He fought the American Revolution. He was a blacksmith in the, Virginia militia. And he got a land grant in Greenbrier County, and we've been here ever since. My home place, also on Blue Sulphur Pike. My grandchildren make the seventh generation to grow up in that same house and on that same land. The zoning affects all of this because we have these, that open spaces, beautiful land, magnificent scenery. But we're under constant pressure for development. And zoning gives us some relief. And I would like to make my voice in support of the zoning and more zoning. But I think one of the most important parts of zoning is enforcement. We can leave in our deeds reservations, but unless there's a good Samaritan out there that's gonna take those reservations to court and force the landowners to abide by the reservations and limitations and the deeds, restrictions, it doesn't develop. It just works. You take, for example, Apple Acres up here on 219 North. There's in the deed that no alcohol ever be sold on that property. There's a convenience store there been selling beer for 20 years. On the Hearns Mill Road, there's a house that's just been demolished recently, was declared uninhabitable by the county. You're all familiar with that. How that can develop was they got the permits for the sewer system and for the well by making the position that their neighbor's land was theirs. They falsified all the records in order to get the permits. They got the permits. Then it fell into disuse. A bunch of drug people moved in there. We all had to lock up our houses. We had to patrol our own land. And finally, through some community effort, we run them off. And that you can call vigilante activity, but we can't rely on enforcement. The house was established under false pretenses, falsely owned zoning regulations, their own health regulations. Up at Eccles Acres is another, I could go on and cite all of these, but the taxpayers had diminished had to demolish the house, which was zoned or all the regulations, government regulations, built in contrary to the regulations, and then the taxpayer didn't pay their damage. So what I'm saying is that also I would hope that within this zoning, that you put some teeth into it. And those that don't abide by the zoning permits, there's a price to pay them. They just get, nothing happens. They just say, well, I paid the regulation, shame on them. But that's ineffective. So as a native son, and I can call myself a native son, been raised in the area, landowner in the area, family's been here for generations. The Greenbrier Hotel used to run a scenic bus. They'd go into the bungers, go out old Route 60, turn in on Bungers Mill, come on the Hearns Mill Road, go through the covered bridge and come up to that beautiful farmland, come back on the Blue Sulphur Pike. And that's the selling point. This beautiful country is what people come here for. And if you're gonna put a housing development, convenience store, restaurant, whatever, you're gonna kill the goose, the land, the golden egg. So my suggestion is, and hope would be that you put some teeth in this thing, as well as regulation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, some of these are, the writing's a little hard for me to read, but I think it's, Brandon DePriest, is that correct? Brandon?
I'm not exactly a public speaker, Brandon DeBreeze, most of you know me. One of the questions I had is, who is helping draft this ordinance of the zoning? It looked a lot like Lewisburg, and I could be mistaken. But is it WVU, Land Use and Development? Anybody know the answer to that?
We're not gonna get any discussion back and forth.
That's,
You're mostly for statement, but now
okay.
I will let you know when we started redoing the comprehensive plan and the zoning ordinance, WU did have play a hand in it.
Yeah.
And then the local planning,
So I worked for Lewisburg. I was planning and zoning officer for 7 months. 3 weeks into that job, I realized I made a mistake. There's a reason most of us do not live in city limits. I'm telling you, if you look at the ordinances from Lewisburg and look at what these guys have been given, it's almost identical. There's a phrase in there, mass gatherings. There's no definition for mass gatherings. What is a mass gathering? A birthday party? Like a wedding, graduation party? That being said, it also says that you're not allowed to have people stay the night at your house. So if you have a graduation party, somebody gets drunk, you gotta go. Let's call you an Uber. Guys, if I have a party at my house, which I'm not going to, whoever wants to stay there should be able to stay there. If you go to section 500, non-conforming. Let's just say, Jack, you got a barn that doesn't last. Tore down, it's been sitting for about a year. That becomes a non-conforming abandonment. If I understand correctly, if it's abandoned, you cannot rebuild it back as a barn unless you come back and get a permit on your property. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But you got a lot of C's in there too. C's mean conditional use permits. That's approved by BZA. If you're not familiar with BZA, that means, oh yeah, well, we can build this for you. Or you can build this, but you have to come in and fill out an application. We have to review it. We have to make sure that everything is legit. Then we'll decide whether Kevin gets it, Jesse gets it. It's not a C, it should be a P on your property. I could stay here all night. I think a lot of you guys, I respect a lot of the people here, and I'm not gonna burn bridges. Just being honest with you. WVU is not Greenbrier County. They don't think like us, they don't live like us, they don't act like us. That's all I've got for you.
I'd like to reply to one thing, an agriculture building would not be affected by this zoning ordinance.
So if you go under 500. You go on here, well, you gotta bear with me. Got all kinds of notes. By folks that are very friendly. Go to non-conformity. And then scroll down there. It says if a non-conforming use has ceased for 1 year, abandonment shall be presumed. So is that a conditional use?
You had mentioned that Jack, if he needed to rebuild a farm building,
In that location is what I said.
the farm buildings are not affected by this zoning ordinance.
Where does it say that?
At the beginning of it, 108, 101.8.
So the proposed says that it is not included. That's what this is. Yeah, this is proposed, isn't it?
101.08.
Well, this is,
That is blue.
Okay, well, if I'm wrong about that, that's wonderful. But,
agriculture buildings are not affected.
good.
Why?
That is great.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
okay. Joanne Horn?
Jan Hallwick.
It's Jan Holly.
Jan, okay.
She's on our BZA.
So I'm glad that there's another meeting coming and more announcements, because that was one of the first things I was gonna say, because I think this is too short a notice and, too short in terms of the number of notices for the people who are interested. And I spoke to quite a number, many people that have an interest in or live in open space conservation. They were frankly speechless and then horrified at what they saw. I'm gonna really address the open space issue. I have the same sort of concerns for the other alterations that other people have and will address, but it's inconsistent with the comprehensive plan that was just passed. You know, it needs to be sent back to the planning commission if there are changes that you're gonna hang on to. I really, it would be great, because it basically is changing open space conservation, non-commercial, to a new zone with a new definition. And honestly, if you have to file a notice and send register letters to all the neighbors if you're opening a business and asking for a variance, you should send a letter to all the people that live in open space, registered, so they have the opportunity to look at what's coming down in their backyard. I've been a landowner here for over 35 years. I was blessed to decide to move here after a long search, and I was blessed with a farm that is close to 1,000 acres. I'm protecting it. I gave up my development rights willfully because I want the land to stay as undeveloped as it is when I got it. And so it's protected with an easement with the Nature Conservancy and with our Farm Protection Trust in coordination with each other. So about 30 years ago or so, you know, shortly after I moved here, the open space conservation was proposed, and I was a fan of that and a willing joiner in that effort, and was glad to see it come. And that is to protect this land from commercial development. At about that time, there was an off-ramp, on and off-ramp proposed where 60 crosses 64 in that valley. Unfortunately, it was defeated. But can you imagine having that interchange there now with all the gas stations, the stores, and the asphalt and the gravel, and right in the middle of that valley? It still makes me shudder, and really I think people realize it would not relieve the bottleneck that happens in Lewisburg when we have events that bring people here. You know, Lewisburg's really a place you drive to and not through. I've been a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for a while. I really wanted to keep my ear to the ground, see what was happening here. I'm very much a proponent of helpful conservation zoning. Unfortunately, twice we have denied an appeal or request for commercial interest in open space conservation. And twice our authority was ignored, and in one case it was formally rezoned, spot rezoned, in another case, in effect, it was rezoned because that large commercial enterprise was allowed to exist and grow. And I'm sure no one in this room would consider doing this at this time in any authority or power position. But I can tell you that having the Board of Zoning Appeal review these items and make a decision and protect the land is not guaranteed. And you can see that by what's happened already. Our authority is undermined over and over again. We have no enforcement power, rarely. Now and then we've had a little bit. So no matter how vigilant BZA is, there's no guarantee that this won't be a constantly encroaching issue in the OC region. So, question is, you know, and again, I will go through some of these things. A garden center, you know, gas stations, commercials, schools, self-storage. Have you seen what kind of land it eats up? And the asphalt and just the ugliness of it. And I see more and more of this in like Roanoke where I go to work. an entire 4-story building of storage for stuff. You know, and I just can't. I can't bear the thought of that happening. That I lose my. We're still here. I just, you know, I can't see that happening in this area that we're talking about. So I saw a ton of tourists, this morning in town. It's lovely, even though they jaywalk and don't pay attention to the lights. We haven't killed anyone today, I don't think. But they, you know, they bring income, they love the town. And they enjoy that drive out west on 60. I constantly see, because I drive it to get to Raiders Valley, people with professional photography equipment, slow drivers who are enjoying the scenery when I want to get home fast, bicyclists, runners, you name it. And where else can they go if you drove north? And I just drove north yesterday. I had to go 14 miles to be able to see open country because of all the little buildings, and all the little strip malls, and all the little gravel lots you have to drive past. You cannot see the countryside for 14 miles driving north. You're not going to see it driving east. You certainly won't see it driving south until you get into Monroe County. So what you get is just when you come over, I'm not telling you anything new, but when you come over that crest at Battleville Farm, you end up with 6 or 7 miles of just big, beautiful bowl of country, you know, of farmlands and grass and hay fields and silos. There's nothing to obstruct your view. And that was the purpose of open space conservation. It's not to allow these businesses to be built on these farms. So I'm hoping that the notice will get out to the landowners that do make up open space conservation. And thanks for your time.
The next name, first part of it, said Linda or Linda?
Linda Ball.
Linda Ball. Linda Ball. That L doesn't look like an L, so I wasn't sure, so.
Handwriting gets worse with each decade of life. Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Linda Ball. I'm a longtime resident of Greenbrier County. I'm a former educator for Greenbrier County Schools, now retired. And coincidentally, years ago, when Betty Crookshanks was the president of the county commission, she lassoed me into being on the steering committee for the county's comprehensive plan. You have to do those every 10 years. So somewhere in the archives of the courthouse, on a shelf somewhere collecting dust the last 2 decades, you will see a document that has my name in it. So I'm a little bit well-versed in all that you have to do with the comprehensive plan and zoning, things like that. I don't live in the district that we're talking about along Route 60. I live adjacent to it. And I'm here tonight to express my opposition, specifically, many of you made really good points, and Jan, you touched upon something that's a big concern of mine, so thank you for your BCA experience. I'm here to oppose land use changes within open space conservation zoning category and forest recreation. Now, I had to look at the Greenbrier County zoning map to see exactly where those were. And if you pass Jim's Drive in I call it Turkey Hills, what did you call it? The Battle Hill. And you drop down, and that vista is a showstopper for local people and for visitors far and wide who come here. It's a showstopper. That's the stretch of road we're talking about. You've got forest recreation on one side of that. You got open space conservation. So I didn't really know much about what was going on, and this kind of fell in my lap a couple weeks ago. So I started reading with a fervor and asking a lot of questions, calling the courthouse. And I have to tell you, I gasped when I read the land use changes for open conservation. Currently, we have 31 land uses
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it. Got it, definitely.
I'm not great. Microphone. Been on the BCA for how many years?
Pick the mic up.
Uh-oh.
They want to be able to hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Been on the BCA for how many? 20 plus?
I was gonna say, as long as I've been there.
Current code that we have existing, and I don't want to get discussion, I just want to make points. I think it's outdated. That's why we are where we are here today. Trying to upgrade. It's just like technology, advancement of society. We as a county and the zone areas need to be up to date. I don't know who came up with all the things, some changes to what you're all presenting. I heard that Jan had 31. I think the Stephen said. Some of them are just ridiculous and should not exist. So I know you can't answer that question, but if you want the DTA to be able to hear some of the requests that they're gonna come in front of us. Let's let anybody volunteer. We got an open space right now. Somebody can speak or make. Yeah. We need to work together to figure it out. And some of the stuff you got on here, to me, is stuff.
Can you provide us with that list?
Fine. Like have a cat two collar enforcement recreation or open space. Would you? We're not supposed to be discussing it, and I'm not gonna do it. That's just any time later. Part of BZA, being on this damn board. Listen to the stuff I'm saying. Barb can tell me, she can tell you what we've been into. Also can tell us what we've been into. Every chance. It's a bunch of BS. And we need to upgrade what we're doing as far as what the county has to work with in those two zones there. They gotta do that. Because it's adequated, it's outdated, it's modern. That's what the process you all and plan. Don't know what that's. We screwed all this stuff up lately, but it's a mess. And Raymond, you're exactly right. There's no enforcement of what's going down. I know down in Fort Springs District, there's a couple things that things were going down, last go. I'm just saying, you're in a catch-22. I'm in a catch-22. You need to kind of figure out how to make it work for the whole.
Sir, John Burns.
Anyway, whoever signed up after Jack,
You must-
Yes. What's your name, sir?
Jesse.
Sir?
Jesse Bennett.
Jesse.
Jesse Bennett.
Jesse James.
I wasn't even close.
Jesse Bennett, is that what you have? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my name's Jesse. In my professional career, I oversee surveyors, technicians, drone pilots. So, and I talk to private property owners every day, all across the state. So I know a little bit about, and the whole reason I bring that up is talking to property owners. I've developed a respect for people's property rights. And it's not just an asset to them, it's a prize, it's their most prized possession. And when you start taking private property rights and moving it to shifting it to authorities, I think it should be on you guys, the board, whoever the writers, to justify why this is needed. I just found out about this a couple days ago. Everybody that I've talked to, there's nothing about it, but you guys tabled it, so it didn't go out of time. Maybe that's part of the reason. But that's please fund this. It's gonna get done. But anytime you shift private property rights to authorities, I think it should be the burden of you all to justify why that's needed, why that shift is needed. And certainly, me just finding out about this, that has been done. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Where do you live, Jesse?
Lewisburg. Sorry. No, I was about yeah, I haven't had time to read it and actually speak and tell people because I just found out about it. Yeah.
It's been on the county website, it's been in all libraries.
greenbrier.wv.gov. That's our new website. It's in the file center.
It's been on there for weeks.
Tried to find it, and my computer told me due to legal, whatever, that it wasn't available.
No, it's available.
And just for point of clarification, when I first looked at it the other day, the date is still in March. So you're not sure.
Well, it's because it's the draft one, and that's why it's labeled draft. It was sent to us when they did the draft.
Using that.
Right.
But anyway, it's the updated one is on it. Kim Kalkowski. She's got good handwriting name.
My name is Kim Kolakowski. I live in the Forest and Recreation section. We live on about 100 acres and we have lived there for about 35 years. My husband and I treasure Greenbrier County. It is a place where people want to be. Everybody from Charleston to Morgantown wish they had a place in Greenbrier County. And there's a reason it is treasured. One, most of all, for their people. Also for our land, our farming areas, our the nature that we value. So I am standing here in opposition of these changes. I am appalled at some of the changes, and I certainly understand Greenbrier County's need for jobs and growth and having our young people here, but this is not consistent with why people want to be in Greenbrier County. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Anderson.
I am Kevin Anderson. I'm gonna say what I said before, this whole thing needs to be trashed again. I'm gonna start all over again. Your zoning map, you need to do some major adjustment. Out on Hoffenegger, you've got open space, residential, and it's very confusing. There's not a fine line in it anywhere. As far as what a couple of them said about, let's get somebody to say what's going on with it, as far as white shirt being on top of it. You really need to find somebody to do that. I've done run into him. He don't know his laws. Come to me 3 months later saying I can zone a piece of property residential. After everything I went through. Richie knows what I'm talking about. I think you do too. And it's a mess. Still a mess. And my property still has an agricultural deed to it. I'm not bothered. I plan to take it. And I'm gonna park my stuff there. But we got a fine line in there, open space residential, that really needs straightened out somehow. Thank you.
Also, Strakis. Also. Also, Strakis. Yeah, mess it up.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but who knows with this thing, and it's not working again.
I touched it.
Old battery. They just didn't charge, I guess, for us. Anyways, try that. Talk really loud.
Thank you very much.
My name's also Stavrakis. We have a farm out on 68, and it's also the West Virginia Renaissance Festival. We just finished our 8th year. It was very successful. We had almost 20,000 people, mostly tourists, come through. Everyone was very happy. We had 90 vendors. They were very happy. The weather was terrific. People said they'd be coming back. And I would like to express my personal thanks on behalf of myself and my family for these changes. The last meeting that we had was there was a broad coalition of people from Greenbrier County. People on the left, people on the right. Farmers, business people, new arrivals, people who've been here for, their family's been here for more than 200 years. All of us were concerned about the last zoning, the first one. And it seems to me that this one has changed and added a lot of our concerns. Like somebody actually listened and started changing the zoning, which it needs. I don't know about you guys who have a farm. There's no goose laying golden eggs on my farm. I gotta work. And I have to do something to keep my horses. And so if you can come up with something that fits without all these changes, that'd be great. I'd be grateful to listen to that. Otherwise, I think this is a good head start. Certainly there's some stuff that needs looked at under the table of uses. But it's a work in progress. And thank you for your work.
Thank you. Don,
And intro.
Don Kinzinger.
That works for me. Good evening. I came in with just a couple notes. If you looked at the changes on your list of, and I live, for those who don't know, in the open space conservation area district, and also co-own the Renaissance Festival in Tasso. There's once again, art studios are not allowed, either permitted or conditional use in the open space conservation area. Seems odd to me. It's defined as a workspace used by artists or artisans for crafting handmade, fine or applied arts. Might have art displays.
It might be going out.
They pretty close to.
Okay.
There you.
But yet, on the other hand, you are allowing, the conditional use might permit stores, might permit retail establishments. And also, the art studio says that it might
Just work your mic.
allow small group instruction, and you allow, schools, so it seems sort of contradictory to me, especially because. Well.
I've all just thought.
Let's go sit on the, oh, here we go. So, you know, if you could consider allowing studios, art studios, studios for rehearsal or performance of performing arts, teaching classes, or for the display of art in general, it seems to me like it would not be out of line with the other proposed additions. Or as some of the concerns expressed tonight, we have 325 acres. At the moment, if we're concerned about how many things might be added or how the landscape might be changed, I would suggest they consider maybe the minimum lot size, because right now I could cut up my 325 acres and put in 150 houses, because the minimum lot size in open space conservation is only 2 acres. I think that would affect the landscape quite a bit more than allowing landowners and farmers who are having trouble
making ends meet as diesel costs, fertilizer costs, all of this goes up. So if we can have an art studio or a farmer's market or an event or a reception event facility on our property to help increase the income that comes in so that we can maintain that large piece of property, that's very helpful. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for all your work.
I think that's.
That's all the people that had signed to speak tonight. We'll be around for a little while. If you want to talk about anything or ask anything, we have copies of the proposed ordinance and everything like that. I think one thing I'll say is you've got people who live in the Richlands area that don't want any change, which I don't blame you. I mean, it's pretty out there. That's pretty valid. You have people that don't want any restrictions. It's about, you know, it's probably 70-30 split, people that don't want any in the whole county. There's probably like 7% of people don't want any restrictions and 30% want more restrictions. If we don't have zoning, and you know, I'm on the economic development with everything and I talk and on readable thing development. A lot of businesses and won't locate to an area that don't have zoning because they want the protection of zoning, as somebody said, that they want they want to know the rules of the road before they come in. They're not gonna come in. You know, they've been places where they come in and spend $1 million or a few $1 million and then there's no protection for them, and then they find out, oops, you know, you've wasted all that because you can't put your building here, business here. So it's a balance between what you know, not having any restrictions and having too much restrictions. One reason for putting conditional on a ton of things that weren't conditional before is because it would go to the BZA and there's restrictions where you would have to get your, you know, you talk to people in your neighborhood or whatever to get letters of consent to do things. So we're trying to, what we're trying to do was take something that we, you know, take the flag issue for one thing. It was in the old one that you couldn't have more than a 3 foot by 5 foot flag, which is what I fly at my house, but I've often thought I'd like to put in a bigger pole because I live on a farm up on a hill and I'd like to have a 6 foot 10 or something larger. There's just a lot of things like that we didn't see any sense of restriction. Somebody's personal decision, make whatever size flag they want to fly. We just thought it was overkill and we wanted to make it to where people had more choice. And you got to draw lines. I know in certain things that we've had come before us that there were, if you live on this side of the road, you could do this, you know, different things. On this side of the road, you couldn't. Somewhere that line's going to be drawn, and if you start veering off of it, there is no line anymore. You got to put a line down somewhere. So, you know, and that's the reason for the Board of Zoning Appeals, so they can feel that and maybe get do something that's not in the in black and white. They can still do something. So it's kind of a balancing act. We tried to make a pretty good swing at it. We thought it was a little over the top. Some of you folks think it's not far enough. Some of you think the whole thing is way out of line. And but we've only got about 8% of the county's zoned. The rest of the county is not zoned. And we have areas that are rural and farmland, Richlands area, different places. We also, the county has to take care of Fairleigh, which is like a town or community. It's like you said, Lewisburg in a way. You got people living on postage stamp size lots side by side, but they don't live in Lewisburg. They don't live in Rossford. They live in Greenbrier County. And we have to give them some protections. And, so it's a balancing act. We don't mean to upset anybody. And we tried, by trying to reverse some of the things, or loosen up some of the things that were in the first one from the planning commission. They did their due diligence, but I think they went a little stringent for the county. Like Mr. Dupree said, the city of Lewisburg, I think, is way over the top. We're not the city of Lewisburg, and we're not the city of Rossford or any other city. We're the county, and we don't, I feel, need the restrictions that the cities do. And, but we need to have some restrictions, because in that 8% that we have zoned, we have to protect citizens that live side by side by side, not on 150 or 200 and 300 or 1,000 acres. We have to protect those people who live next door to each other. So we can't have signs that are monstrous. We can't have signs everywhere. Don't want to regulate. I agree with most of you, I think, and most people in the county. I don't want to over-regulate, don't like a lot of regulations. I live on a farm. I have 80 acres, but I'm in a zone district, and the zoning has never bothered me in any way. I can do what I want on my farm. I don't plan on putting a gas station in. I don't plan on putting any kind of commercial business on my property. I live out my days on that 80 acres, and they can do whatever they want after I'm gone. But anyhow, we're trying to do a balancing act, and we're never gonna please everybody. We may please half of this room one way if we go one way and half the other way. But it's gonna be about a 50-50 split or something. I would say the folks that actually spend their time to come out and listen to it and go through this thing. But remember, it's only for 8% of the county. If you don't live in those two zoned areas, it doesn't affect you at all. If you do live in a zoned area like I do, it doesn't affect me, because I had no intentions of doing most of the stuff. Most people that farm are planning to put that kind of thing, commercial stuff, on their property anyway. So anyway, it's a balancing act. We took our best swing at it. We will have another meeting probably on the 28th, 29th. We haven't set that date yet. Everything is available in your local library. It's all available on our site. Go to those, either one of those.
In the
You
office.
can look at it, and also come to the courthouse and look at it. And, you know, see whether it affects you or not. But I can kind of guarantee you that we're not going to over-regulate the county. It's just, we're not a community, we're not a municipality, so we're not going to do that. But on the other hand, we do have to have some protections for people that live in a community like Fairleigh, where you have people up and down every street, side by side by side. So, like I say, conditional uses, were put on a lot of things just so that they would have to go to the BZA and not just automatically become. So, that was the reason behind that. So I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We'll have one more meeting. And it'll be at the courthouse. And, so invite you to come back there if you want. If you got any questions or want to talk, we'll be around for a little while. So there's two of us. Richie is online.
I don't know if he has any comments or anything.
You got any comments, or can you?
He can hear us. He's got his mic muted, so there was, I don't know if he's got anything.
No. Anyway, appreciate everybody coming tonight, and we'll
Oh, he just can't speak right now.
see you all on the 28th, 29th. So you get that said. I think so. Thank y'all.
So you do have copies.
Yeah, can I have one of these counted?
This is the copies. It does not have the table of use. I was sitting up here looking for one. So the table of use is not in here.
Does it have the red line?
This is, well, it's blue, but yes, they're all blue.
Okay.
So
I have one of, yeah, all right, thank you.
How many copies?
I just have the two. So it's on our, let me show you where to find it on the website. And the library had issues and they've been corrected. So
We need a.
so if you go to greenbird.wv.gov and you go to the file center. So, yeah. So this is let me just go to the main site. So greenbird.wv.gov, this is the main county website. It's taking a minute because I guess the internet's not the greatest in here. But either way, you go to this and you're gonna go.
Greenboro County Commission, it doesn't get you there, or it does?
greenbird.wv.gov is our website. Okay, so go to that, hit File Center. Once you go to the File Center, it will go straight to this page. We put it here, the draft table of uses and the draft updated. This is the part that says County Commission blue lined. So it's this one that's like blue, has all the blues, which is the changes from the original one that they presented. If you look at this one, this revision here, and you click on this one, it is that table of use. And she made a comment about the date. It really was changed on 3/10/26 in a county commission meeting. We just kind of sat on it for a little bit to make sure but that was actually done in a meeting. All of these reds, what they've done. Yeah, you can go to this website and go. It's really, like I said, it's really easy to find. It just goes there. If you have problems getting it to pull up, feel free to stop by my office. I'll make you a copy of everything. I'm not gonna, just come in the county commission office. I just didn't, the girl there, she didn't put that table of use on the back of it. And she only gave me 2 copies. And I was like, I ran out of time today because the commission meeting was this morning. It was a little chaotic. So we had a lot going on this morning.
But should the library also have?
The library should, there was a misunderstanding on the library. The girl saying, she came to my office the other day and picked up another copy of it because she had lost her copy, even though we hand delivered it. And it was funny because the girl that came for it, she saw the other girl. She goes, I handed it personally to you and to you, not to somebody else, to you. And she goes, oh, and she had this like look, a blank look. But yes, they all have it. I took it to Rupert and Raynell. It doesn't affect them, but I did do that. And then Shayna took it to Greenboro County, which I gave her a new site, the Lewisburg one. And then Ronsford should have it. Alderson should have it. White Sulphur should have it. So they all should have it. The which one? Okay, they should have it. Like I said, Ann Farr and I talked about it the other day too. And you can get it off of the.
So when I go to the county, this is what comes up, and I had now that
Let
you
me-
showed me, I can figure it out, but I just.